Time for In or Out.
Yeah. Oh,
Sponsored
that's
by
why
Midas
it's always talking
Tires.
trash about me.
Brakes.
I'm on to you, Celtics fan 44 on NBA
Everything.
Reddit.
Make your... All right, let's go Midas. Tires, brakes, oil, everything. Make your appointment at Midas.com today. What's going on with Odell Beckham Jr.? Seriously, what is going on? Another underwhelming, subpar game Sunday from the Browns receiver. Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio thinks OBJ could be on the move via trade awfully soon. He wrote this: if there's a taker for the balance of his $14.5 million salary, the Browns would be crazy not to consider making a move. They don't need him. Someone else might think they do, and Beckham might be quietly pining for a chance to go to a place where he can do more than be an overpaid decoy. For the Browns, anything they would get for Beckham would be more than what they are currently getting from him now. Wow. Can't believe we're here, but Chris Broussard, you in or out on the Browns trading Odell Beckham?
I'm in on this, Jenna. Now, it's not urgent. It's not like if they can't trade him or don't trade him, he's going to derail their season. But if you could find a taker, as Florio pointed out, to get his $14.5 million this year, and the next 2 years, he's got a $15 million cap hit each of those seasons, then sure, I'd trade him. And this is not a knock against OBJ. But the fact is that he and Baker Mayfield just cannot get on the same page, or have not been on the same page. You see there, the numbers don't lie. Baker Mayfield's been much better without OBJ. Last year, OBJ only played about 7 games. In his last 3 games healthy, Baker had 5 interceptions. In the last, 7 games or 11 games after that, or whatever it was, Baker had one interception the entire rest of the way. So he has been better without OBJ. The first 2 games this year without OBJ, he completes 82% of his passes nearly. The next 2 with OBJ, he completes 53%. Again, not putting it on Odell, but I think it's more on Baker. And early on last year, maybe early on this year, I think he felt an obligation to try to get the ball to Odell. I first guessed this. I said it last year when Odell got hurt that Baker would be better because now he could just go through his natural progressions and hit the open man. I do think Baker did that last week against the Chargers, and they put up 42 points. But he only targeted OBJ 3 times, and the offense was fine. So Florio's right. I think they'll be fine. Jarvis Landry is back in maybe this week even, but certainly in a couple weeks. And then OBJ Nick will be even less of a target for Baker.
And one of those 3 targets, the only one he didn't catch was that key 4th down drop very early in the game that, given how the game ended, loomed very large. But Kevin Wildes, you know the comp I'm about to make.
Yes.
And we are getting ever and ever closer to Odell following the Randy Moss arc. And that is amazing. Goes to a lesser team. What the hell happened to you? Then goes to a GOAT-style quarterback. Amazing. Now, I know what the audience thinking, Nick, you're going to send him to the Chiefs. As much as I would like to, and Odell would love Kansas City, I must say, I'm not sure what the Chiefs need is an offensive player right now. However, another GOAT-level quarterback.
You think?
What about Aaron?
Mac Jones.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Oh.
Send Odell to Green Bay. You send him out of the conference. I understand Aaron loves the receiving core this year, but he'd love it even more with Odell. That Packers team since week 1 has been great. This would give them an infusion. They have the draft capital to do it. Send Odell to Green Bay. I'm in on this. It has never fit with Baker and the Browns. And by the way, they scored 42, as Broussard mentioned, with Odell doing nothing. They're a running team, and they're going to take some shots. It's a misallocated asset, Wildes.
Look, it would be smart. And if Aaron Rodgers wanted Odell, all he would have to do is put out a tweet or say something to McAfee, and would put the Packers brass in a tough spot. Like, oh, we're supposed to, listen to Aaron. We have Randall Cobb. He's playing great. Like, maybe we'll make this happen. I could see a few things, but I'll give you 3 things. One, I would love to have him in New Orleans with Broussard's MVP, Jameis Winston, especially since Michael Thomas is still on the PUP list. I think that offense would come alive, but they don't have enough money. I get it. Obviously, every football story, I am trying to add, 100 players to the Patriots. That doesn't really work either. What about this one, though? What about the Giants? Why don't you come on home, Odell? We just saw Jamie Collins come back to New England, and he was great. Do we have a team that's struggling? You got Tony, you got Galladay, although he's a little bit banged up. I think it would be a nice little homecoming. And here's why.
You have to
send... he won't... Hold on a second. Let me talk about my guy, Joe Judge.
Didn't Gettleman send him out?
Little too tightly wrapped, I would say. As much as I love him, a little too tightly wrapped. And just how Randy Moss went to New England and kind of loosened Belichick up a little bit. Hey, let's have a roller skating party. Dress up as a pirate. He's like, all right, you're right. Let's have the best offense of all time. I think Odell could loosen Joe Judge up just a hair and maybe make the Giants a winning squad. Give Daniel Jones another weapon. It's a great idea. Oh, thanks, Wells.
Odell's my guy, but we got to be honest about it. If you're trading for Odell, you need him to be happy that you've traded for him. And that means he has to have a good quarterback. And so, there are certain teams that need a receiver, but their quarterbacks, like Washington, makes a ton of sense. But he's not going to be happy. So Odell's like a Ferrari. It sounds great for everyone, but if you live on a snowy mountaintop, it ain't great. If your quarterback's Daniel Jones and you're run by Joe Judge, not going to happen. We need him to go somewhere where the quarterback's going to be awesome and they're going to be nice to him. So I just think we got to scratch off the Giants,
Green Bay,
Jets,
perfect.
Those teams, they got to go.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Green Bay. Thank you.
Because maybe Rodgers would stay.
3 games.
Maybe Rodgers would stay.
Odell,
Maybe.
3 games, 9 catches, 124 yards, no touchdowns. Maybe it's OBJ. I don't know. Let's talk some Monday Night Football. Oh, what a night for Lamar Jackson. Wow, this game. Did he prove he can win with his arm? So is J.R. Smith, not in the NBA, but definitely in full swing. Made his debut for the North Carolina A&T men's golf team. J.R. shot 7 over 78 Monday, round 1 of the Elon Phoenix Invitational Tournament in Burlington, North Carolina. J.R. wasn't given an exemption or a free pass. He had to qualify for this tournament like all the other golfers. In fact, his head coach, Richard Watkins, said this about how competitive JR is. If you want to find out how good a golfer really is, put the word tournament or money in front of the round. Hey, coach, not the case with JR. The word money not getting him to play any harder. JR pulled into the tournament, not on the team bus, if there was one, not in the car that I had when I was in college, my old beat-up Mazda Miata.
That's Broussard's
Not
car.
in the car Marnie had, where she had to hold up the rearview mirror because it kept falling off. Guy showed up in a Bentley. Full-blown, more expensive than my kid's education, loaded Bentley. Just boss move, JR. Boss move.
Hope he at least,
show up in that ride.
I hope he at least brought a few teammates with him.
I don't know how many you could fit in there. You don't want to, ruffle the seats at all. Just intimidate the opponent. Shoot whatever you want. 7 over 78, 10 over 81. Doesn't matter. Call it a good day. Show up in a ride like that. Money's not affecting JR in this tournament.